Hello students, welcome into the ITLS Academy. As you know, myself Dr. Himani, PhD in Tissue Engineering and Regenerative Medicine. So today we are going to discuss about the recombinant DNA technology. Knowledge about cell and its functioning has increased to a great magnitude during 20th century. Science and genetic provided basic input, and now we have gathered information about the structures of master molecule, DNA, its replication and control of gene expression. Recombinant DNA technology is sophisticated molecular biology developed to produce essential biologicals on wide scale to match the demand of the herd population. So we can define as recombinant DNA technology procedure by which DNA from different species can be isolated, cut and spliced together. New recombinant molecules are then multiplied in quantity in populations of rapidly dividing cells. Example, it could be the bacteria and yeast, or we can define as the production of exact copy of a particular gene or DNA sequence using genetic engineering techniques is called recombinant DNA technology. The term gene cloning, DNA cloning, and molecular cloning and recombinant DNA technology are referred to the same as the same technology. So in short, we can say recombinant DNA technology we can know and known as the gene cloning or gene manipulation. So when DNA is extracted from an organism, all its genes are obtained in gene or DNA. Cloning a particular gene is copied, forming clones. Cloning is one method used for isolation and amplification of gene of interest. The role of recombinant DNA technology in biotechnology. Recombinant DNA technology, international modification of organism genomes for particular purpose. There are three goals. First one is eliminate undesirable phenotypes trials. Second one is combine beneficial trials of two or more organisms. Third is create organisms that synthesize product human need. So now we are going to discuss about the achieving method. DNA cloning can be achieved by two different methods. First one is cell-based DNA cloning and second one is cell-free DNA cloning. It's called PCR. Now requirement for recombinant DNA technology. So in this recombinant DNA technology, we required four things. First one is DNA fragments. DNA fragments containing the desired gene to be the cloned. Second one is restricted enzyme and ligase enzyme. Next one is the vector. Vector to carry, maintain and replicate clone gene in the host cell, and host cell in which recombinant DNA can replicate. So let's discuss about the principle of recombinant DNA technology. DNA recombinant technology is a technique where the selected DNA of one organism is introduced to combine with the DNA of another organism acquire the genetic ability of the donor. The basic steps involved the process of DNA technology are as follows. First one is the genomic DNA is isolated from the donor. You can see first one the Genomic DNA. This one, the genomic DNA is isolated from the donor, and this is isolated from the donor. This is the genomic DNA part. This one, the isolated from the donor. We can use different type of isolation procedure by the chemical, by the chloroform method. Different protocol are present here. You can isolated genes by the following by these uh, protocols. So, and second one, the using restriction enzyme such as endonuclease, the DNA is fragmented. A fragment of DNA containing the gene to be cloned. This fragment of DNA containing the gene to be cloned is insertion into the suitable vector to produce a recombinant DNA molecule. Endonuclease enzyme, this restricted enzyme or endonuclease enzyme, are known as molecular seizures as they produce nick in the DNA fragment at the desired place. The vector, here is the vector, this one. So the vector act as vehicle. This vector act as a vehicle that transport the gene, this gene that transport the gene into a host cell. Usually a bacterium, although other type of living cells can be used. Within the host cell, the vector multiply. In this, the host cell, this vector is multiply. So, after multiplying, producing numerous identical copies, not only of itself but also of the gene that it carry. This gene already present in this vector. When this vector is this things are multiplied, then this gene also multiply. So when the host cell dividing, copies of the recombinant DNA molecules are passed to the progeny and further vector replication take place. After a large number of cell division, a colony of clone or identical host cell is produced. Each cell in the clone contains one or more copies of each cell contain these each cell contain one or more copies of the host cell. So, when the host cell divide, copies of recombinant DNA molecule are passed to the progeny and further vector replicate take place. After a large number of cell division, a colony of clone of identical host cell is produced. Each cell in the clone contains one or more copies of the recombinant DNA molecule. The gene carried by the recombinant molecule is now said to be cloned. So, let's discuss about the step in the recombinant DNA technology using. The basic 7 steps involved in the gene cloning. First one is the isolation of DNA fragments to be cloned. Second one is the insertion of isolated DNA into a suitable vector to form recombinant DNA technology. And third one is introduction of recombinant DNA into a suitable organism known as a host. And fourth one is the selection of transformed host cell and identification of the clone containing the gene of interest. Next is multiplication and expression of the introduced gene in the host. And sixth one is isolation of multiple gene copies of protein expressed by the gene. And last is the purification of the isolated gene copy and protein. So let's discuss all step one by one. Here you can see the different step of the recombinant DNA technology. First, we are going to discuss about the isolation of DNA fragments of the gene. The targeted DNA or gene to be cloned must be first isolated. In this picture you can see here, this is the targeted gene. This is the targeted gene and this is the plasmid. So first step is the isolation of this targeted DNA fragments. So in this procedure we are going to understand about this isolation procedure of the DNA fragments. So the targeted DNA or gene to be cloned must be first isolated, and a gene of interest is a fragment of gene whose product interest is like, for example, gene encoding for hormone insulin. So the desired gene may be isolated by using restriction endonuclease enzyme. This is the cDNA library, and this is the when these reverse transcriptase is started, then the desired gene may be isolated by using the restriction enzyme and clipped into the many DNA fragments. So the desired gene may be isolated by the using restricted endonuclease enzyme, which cut at the specific recognized nucleotide sequence known as restriction sites. These are the restriction sites. These are these one and these one are the restricted sites. So these recognized nucleotide sequence known as the restricted sites towards the inner region, producing blunt or sticky end. Sometimes reverse transcriptase enzyme may also be used, which synthesis complementary DNA strands of the desired gene using its mRNA. This one. So this is our first step, isolation of the DNA fragment. So here we choose a specific DNA fragments, then we just cut the DNA fragments by the using of restricted enzyme, and these restricted enzyme, by the cutting of the restricted enzyme, these recognized nucleotide sequence known as restricted site towards the inner region and producing blunt or sticky ends. So next step is selection of suitable cloning vector. This is very important part, because first we should know about what is the vector. Vector is the small DNA molecule capable of cell replication, cloning vehicle or cloning DNA, or vector is carried of DNA fragments like plasmid, phase, hybrid vector or artificial chromosomes. It could be the carried by the vectors. So the vector is a carrier which can carry the gene of interest into a host, replicate there along with the gene of interest, making it multiply copies. So you can see here, this vector is making multiply, this replicate making the multiple copies of this vector. So the cloning vector are limited to the size of insert that they can carry depending on the size and the application of the insert. The suitable vector is selected. The different type of vector available for cloning are plasmids, bacteriophages, bacterial artificial chromosomes, yeast artificial chromosomes, and mammalian artificial chromosomes. However, the most commonly used cloning vectors include plasmids and bacteriophages beside all the other available vectors. So you can see in this picture, there is the our foreign DNA. This is our foreign DNA, and this red part is the desired gene, and here is the our plasmid vector. And after the cutting of this restricted enzyme, both this desired gene and this restricted site create by the restricted enzyme, so this desired gene bind with these plasmid. So this cutted plasmids bind with this desired gene. So you can see here the ligation with the DNA occurs. You can see here this is the red part is the desired gene, and all these are the plasmid parts, vector parts. So after that, this complete vector, this called recombinant DNA. This recombinant DNA, after the transforming in the vectorial transformation, then convert in that multiply into the many recombinant DNA. So essential characteristics of the cloning vector. This is the next part. The essential characteristic of the cloning vector is vector could be the self-replicated or multiple copies. Vector should be able to replicate origin site. Vector should be the cloning site. Vector selectable marker gene, and vector should be the small size and the low molecular weight. It could be or it should be the low molecular weight. Easily isolated and purified, easily isolated into the host cell, control elements and promote operator ribosomes binding site. So all cloning vectors are carrier DNA molecules. These carrier molecules should have few common features in general, such as already we have discussed, like it must be self-replicated inside host cell, and it must process a unique restriction site like for the recombinant enzymes. Introduction of donor DNA fragment must not interfere with replication, probably for the vector. It must possess some marker gene such that it can be used for later identification of recombinant cell, usually an antibiotic restriction gene that is absent in the host cell. They should be easily isolated from the host cell. These are the special or essential characteristics of the cloning vector. So next step is formation of recombinant DNA. This is the also a very important part. So the plasmid vector is cut open by the same restricted enzyme used for isolation of the donor DNA fragment. The mixture of donor DNA fragment and plasmid vector are mixed together. In the presence of DNA ligase, in the presence of this DNA ligase, base pairing of donor, this base pairing and this base pairing of the donor DNA fragment and plasmid vector occur. The resulting DNA molecules here, the DNA molecule is hybrid of two DNA molecules. These one first DNA molecules and these are the second DNA molecules. The gene of the interest, the vector. In the terminology of genetics, this intermixing of different DNA strands is called, this one is called recombination. This one is called recombination. Hence, this new hybrid DNA molecule, this complete hybrid DNA molecule is also called a recombinant DNA molecule, and the technology is referred to as the recombinant DNA technology. So let's understand again by this picture. So you can see there is the desired gene. This is the human DNA. By human DNA we just collect this desired gene. This red part is our, this is a complete human DNA sequence, and we cut just desired gene part. You can see here, this is the first desired gene part and this is the second desired gene part, and this is our plasmid factor. You can see here, and after the amplification or by the cutting endonuclease enzyme, this site is cut. So you can see here after the cutting, the first is this 8 have this type of chromosomal things, and in this side have this type of the sequence. So when the annealing ligase occurs and these things are mixed together, then you can see here in this cutting portion, this you can see there is the G part. First one is the G part, and this part is just bind here. This G part come from this here, and this part is bind here, and this part is already here, but this G part is bind with this part. And if you can see here, this part is already here and this G part is bind here, and again this G is already here. So this part of desired DNA bind here, and this G was already present here. So this bind, these desired DNA and plasmids are bind, and this resulting DNA molecule is a hybrid of two DNA molecules. That's why we are saying the hybrid of two DNA molecules. First part is this one and second part is this one. And the gene of interest and molecule and vector, in the terminology of genetics, this intermixing of different DNA strands is called recombinant DNA. Next part is transformation of recombinant vector into the suitable host. This is the host. This is the recombinant part and this is the host. So the recombinant vector is transformed into a suitable host cell, mostly a bacterial cell. This is the bacterial cell. Generally we used a bacterial cell for the transforming of recombinant vector. This were done either for one or both of the following regions. First one is to replicate the recombinant DNA molecule in order to get the multiple copies of the genomic interest. Second one is to allow the expression of genomic interest such that it produce its needed protein product. So some bacteria are naturally transformable. They take up the recombinant vector automatically, and just like for the example like Bacillus, Helicobacter pylori, and which are naturally competent, but some other bacteria on the other hand required the incorporation of artificial methods such as calcium ion treatment and electroporations etc. So you can see here this plasmid, this recombinant plasmid vector is transformed into the suitable host. This is the suitable host, and then the this called is the transformation cell. Next step we are going to understand is the isolation of recombinant cell. So the transformation process generate a mixed population of transformed and non-transformed cell. The selection process involves filtering the transformed host cell only. For isolation of recombinant cell from non-recombinant cell, marker gene or plasmid vector is employed. For example, PBR320 plasmid vector contains different marker gene like a ampicillin resistant gene and tetracycline resistant gene. When PST1RE is used, it knocks out ampicillin resistant gene from the plasmid so that the recombinant cell becomes sensitive to ampicillin. So next we are going to discuss about the next step is multiplication of selected host cell. So you can see here in this picture, once transformed host cell are separated by screening process. Transformed cell, this is the transformed cell. Recombinant vector, this is the recombinant targeted gene, and this called the recombinant vector and transform into the host cell. Then this once transformed host cell are separated by the screening process become necessary to provide them optimum parameters to grow and multiply. So in this step, the transformed host cell are introduced into fresh culture media. At this stage, the host cell divide and redivide along with the replication of the recombinant DNA. This is the recombinant DNA. You can see here at this stage the host cell divided and redivided. In this picture also you can see here this host cell is divided and redivided along with the replication of the recombinant DNA carried by them. This is the recombinant DNA. In all recombinant DNA carried. So, if the aim is obtaining numerous copies of gene of interest, then simply replication of the host cell is allowed. But for obtaining the product of interest, favorable condition must be provided such that the gene of interest in the vector expression the product of the interest. Next step we are going to discuss about the isolation and purification of the product. This is the last step and very important step. The next step involves isolation of the multiple gene of interest attached with the vector. You can see here the vectors is multiply here. We already see in the last picture. So after multiplication, you can see here the bacterial chromosomes, and here is the clone of the bacterial chromosomes. So both are using the in this step, both steps are involved isolation of multiple gene of interest. These both steps are using the isolation of multiple gene of interest attached with the vector. Already vector is attached here. So attached with the vector of the protein encoded by it. You can see here. This following This is followed by the purification of the isolation gene copy or protein. You can see here by culture method the bacterial platelets of medium. We use the antibiotic here, and here is the only bacteria containing recombinant DNA growth. And by culture, in both method, by culture we just we can purify our protein. So now we are going to discuss about the application of recombinant DNA technology. In this picture you can see here so many recombinant DNA technology applications in the different fields, like therapeutics product. In the therapeutics product we can use vaccine, growth hormones, antibodies, vectors, recombinant protein, and anti-cancer drugs. And in the general modified product like fruits and the different type of genomic vector and vegetables, genomic crops, genomic microbes, and genomic animals. Recombinant DNA technology also used in different type of diagnosis like gene therapy, monitoring of devices, and therapeutics strategy. And it also used in the energy application like the biohydrogen, bioethanol, methanol, and biobutanol production. So other application you can see here after the purification of this um, protein by the bacterial culture. You can see here this use after the amplified protein, this use in the scientific research, medicine, and pharmacological industry, pest or insecticides resistance plants, and the bacteria used to clean oil or the toxic specimens. And other you can see here, this is also used in the scientific research, medicines, and pharmacological industries, high temperature forming snow, and food industry. We can use this the recombinant DNA technology. Other applications also use of the recombinant technology is application of recombinant DNA technology varies for different sector. First sector is recombinant DNA technology used in medicine. For medicines, we can use like for the production of vitamins like B12, and for production of antibiotics on the large scale. Recombinant protein like insulin, other enzymes, hormones can be produced by recombinant DNA technology. So recombinant DNA technology is used to produce recombinant vaccine in large scale like hepatitis B vaccine. Next is the recombinant DNA technology used animal husbandry and sericulture. So for enhancement of milk production in cattle, for better meat yield in animal like pig, cattle, birds, and enhancement of silk production in the sericulture, for better egg yield in poultry, birds, and the better wool yield from sheep. And next application in recombinant DNA technology used in the agriculture. For biotechnology, crop like cotton, vegetables, recombinant DNA technology can help produce high yielding plants with desired quality. Disease resistance crop like Bt cotton, Bt brinjals are produced to with withstand pest attack and thereby limit pesticide uses. So guys, I have covered my topics related to this lecture. So I hope you are students able to understand this lecture. If you have any query, then you can mail me. Thank you for listening me.